Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I think we can give, I'm not sure if everyone is in the call, but we can give a minute for anyone who did not fill the pre-workshop survey, because I had like 4 responses till this morning. So kindly, for anyone in the meeting and did not submit his or her response, to please do so. And we will start in maybe a minute or so.
For those who just joined in, we're having people fill out the pre-workshop survey. So if you didn't complete that, please use the next minute or so to complete that. Thank you.
Yeah, and I see we already have like 4 or 5 participants in the room. I guess it's a good moment to start because we have plenty of things to cover today. And I hope it's going to be an interactive and a good session to really keep up, continuing to the skills and knowledge that we have learned earlier. So I'll just start sharing my slide like from the beginning. So for everyone who joined, good morning again. So I'm Gloria Chirima from Ifakara Health Institute. I'm from one of the projects, DM4DM, which is uh, disease modeling for decision making. And I am together with Praise, we are going to co-facilitate this session. And just to broaden up, because this session is all about data visualization, but for us to really keep up into this session, we have to a bit go on into data wrangling session that we had last time to cover about pipe operators. They were included in the session that Yuval gave you, but just in case for anyone who did not take time to do that or maybe practice, so we're going to do it today. Then we're going to jump into data visualization as itself, but also touch down into a bit of the extension from what Kokoda did from last week about version control. So we are going to see how we will be able to do that with an application for GitHub Desktop. And we're going to have Praise and me facilitate this. So from exactly what we had last time, we had over 6 sessions already, and we're going to a bit connect of the data wrangling that you had, but also at the end, the version control and Git that you have. But really, what are we trying to answer at the end of the day from this workshop is from the previous session that you all had from data wrangling is when you're asked about how many people, how many confirmed cases are in a certain place, that is when you can always like have them as in numbers. But sometimes you always have things like a very big data and you need to see maybe trends or increase or decrease of things, or maybe how really they deviate from one another. So you can't just have figures from data wrangling to say so, or maybe rearrange. Sometimes you need to visualize this data. So when you ask maybe what is the trend of confirmed cases from the data that we had, it had different years, but it also had under 5/5 at different administration levels. So if you want to see all these trends, you can't just if you have over maybe 100 of admin 2 levels, you can't just tell a person all those numbers. Sometimes you just visualize to see how really the trend goes over the year or maybe over the months. And that's why we do visualization. So when you are asked about this question, you go to ARA and do some visualization. And that's what we're going to really do this time. So we had this pre-workshop survey, and for anyone who did not fill, we'll be very glad for you people to do that so that we can really see how you transform before having this workshop to after, because I feel like from the results we had, some people were not confident about creating these visuals. So it's going to be good if at the end of the day, 100% of the people will be saying that, yes, we're confident about preparing visualization in R. So what we're going to do, as I said, we have 3 parts. We'll have the first part for the first 15 minutes about pipe operators, just to finish off data wrangling that we had, and Praise is going to lead that. Then we're going to take 90 minutes for data visualization, and at the end, we're going to have like 10, 15 minutes of GitHub Desktop to really demo how it's being done, because most of the knowledge and terminologies were done for the last session. So I would welcome Praise. I'll just stop sharing my screen and have the first 15 minutes for Praise.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'll take it from where Gloria just ended. As she said that I'll be walking you through the pipe operators. So let me go to my screen. Yeah. So continuing from where Yuval ended from the data wrangling session, I'll be walking you through the pipe operator. And just to highlight for the people that are using the Windows laptops, the shortcut for this operator is Control-Shift-M, and for those that are using the Mac, it's Command-Shift+M. So just to recap from the previous session, we had several functions. As you can see from the slides, we have the select function, which basically is you choosing which columns you want to keep or you want to remove from your data when you're doing the analysis. We also have the filter function, which keeps rows that are matching a condition. So then we have the mutate function, which is basically adding or transforming columns that you want to use in your analysis. The group by, which is basically grouping the data by variables. So maybe you want to group by age, by year, and all that. And then you also have the summarize, if you want to collapse groups by using summary statistics like average, mean, and all that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to see a more elegant way to chain all of these functions together. So what does this look like? The pipe operator is used to pass data from one function to the next. So as you think of the pipe operator, you're thinking of it as saying and then. So you have your data. Let's say you have, let's say you have your data, and then you want to select, you want to filter, you want to mutate, you want to summarize your data. What you're going to do is you're going to write the data function, and then you keep the pipe operator. Next to it, you write your select function, and then again, you keep the pipe operator, you filter your data, and proceed with the other things that you want to work on. So the pipe operator just makes running the codes much more easier. Yeah. So this is what it would look like without the pipe operator and with the pipe operator. So here you have the function select, function for filter, etc. But with the pipe operator, you only have one function that is doing everything together. So in R, if I can just go to my R script, taking on from what we had before, I think I should. Can you see the R? I think I have to share it. Okay. Okay, I think everyone can see my R script. So from what we had gathered from your Val session, you would have already a library, the tidyverse, because most of these functions are in the tidyverse package. And we can use the edited routine data that we previously used. But if you're not able to have this data in your laptop currently, you can go to the workshop 7 in the Google Drive. We have kept the data there. You'll find the edited routine data. So if I run the data, and then I'll run the codes, which I had previously displayed in the PowerPoint. So we have, like I said, the select, the filter, the mutate, group by, and summarize function. We already did this from the previous session. So now with using the pipe operator, we're going to create a new data that we're going to update results. And then from this, I will take the initial data frame that we had. I'll select the variables of interest. In this case is admin 1 month, the confirmed results under 5 and test under 5. And then I'll keep the pipe operator here. Like I said, if you're using a Windows, it's Control Shift M. And for those that are using Mac, it's Command Shift M. And then I'll go ahead to filter the month of, in this case, is April. Again, Control Shift M, you get the pipe operator, mutate, group by, and then I'll summarize. So I'll run this code. And then if I print the results, this is what it's going to look like. I have a summary of the admin ones and the total under 5s for each admin. So if we go back to the PowerPoint presentation, if we go back to the PowerPoint presentation, what we had just run is what is here. And we can see that the results that you're getting is the same. It's just that using the pipe operator, it's easier to read and write because you only have one function to do everything. So tips to consider when using the pipe is that the pipe passes the data as the first argument. And so this is basically saying the left-hand object, which our case was the data frame, is the first argument of the next function. And then it will keep doing the rest like that. So it will select first, it will filter next, it will group by it, and as you proceed. And all the tidyverse functions works with pipes. This is something that we also need to remember, and they all work very seamlessly. If you want to save the results, like the new data frame that you've created after using the pipe, you just use this function. So maybe initially we had that DF data frame, and then you can rename it to DF clean, you can name it to DF April, depending on what you're trying to achieve. And then so this stores the full function, full chain into the new object. So I'd like us to take 5 minutes to work on this, just to practice how we can use the pipe operator. So I want everyone to rewrite the codes using the pipes for the total case of the under 5 in admin level 2 for the year 2018, month is equal to January. And here below is just a hint that the final results should be, the data should be named results. So if we can take 5 minutes to work on this, unless someone has a question or concern. And then you can react once you're done.
I've posted in the chat the data that you can use.
Thank you, Nema. So we'll do until 1120. And for the final output, we're expecting that we're going to have a data frame with admin 1 and total confirmed cases for under 5 for the month of April. I mean, sorry, it's supposed to be January 2018. We have 1 more minute. Okay. So I'm seeing that no one has reacted yet. I'm going to assume no one was able to finish. Um, so, okay, so for the activity, this is what without the pipes the codes would look like. We would select the data frame, the admin 2, which is a variable of interest month. We said we're going to use January, so we have to select that. Confirmed, tested under 5, and the year, which is 2018. So for the pipe operator, we're going to have the result pipe, And then we're going to filter the month January and the year 2018 together. And then you keep the pipe operator again. You mutate the ratio of the confirmed under 5 over tested under 5. I think this is something that we had covered before. And the admin one, we're going to summarize the total for under 5, which is the sum of the confirmed under 5, and arrange, because we said we wanted them to be kept from the highest to the lowest. So if I run this and then print the results, I'm going to get a data frame for admin 1 with total confirmed cases for under 5 in January 2010, sorted from the highest to the lowest. I think that's clear to everyone, unless we have questions on how the pipe operator works. So we'll proceed with the data visualization. We'll proceed with the data visualization tasks, and so we'll take 1 minute. Should we take 1 minute?
Yeah, as I can see.
Yeah. Yeah, so we can take 1 minute to stretch a little before we proceed with the data visualization. Thank you, everyone.
Please, can you share again
The activity?
the spread? Yeah, so that this 1 minute I can try to
Okay.
do. No, not the result. The
results.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll stop sharing this. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so maybe I'll share the codes later so that Gloria can proceed for the sake of time.
Okay, so from what Praise was speaking, we will go straight to data visualization, and it is in one of the packages called ggplot, but also tidyverse works well with data visualization using ggplot because it is within the package. So we're going to take like 90-80 minutes to do that, and we can all ask ourselves, like, why do we need to visualize data? As we spoke earlier of the many questions you can be asked of a very huge data that you be given, and you ask the question of either trend, seasonality. So what we really need is to spot patterns instantly from big data that will be given. So it can be either an increasing, as you can see the plot on our right side. So it can be at different, maybe is it groups, increasing, decreasing, which one is more than the other or not? Is it seasonality over the year and spikes, which are really hard to really have them seen from just sorting the data or rearranging the data. So you also find data quality issues. How do you identify outliers really? So sometimes when you just plot, we will see when we do box plots, you can really see what outliers are there in possible values to really spot them when you just have a big data, but also communicate findings, because when you're going to present something, maybe in a conference, you cannot go there and show your maybe CSV or your Excel data. But when you visualize them, then it's really easy to communicate to the people and the results that you get in a faster than just having numbers or a table. So how really does ggplot works as we are trying to plot these things? So this is a layered approach, and we have data that we are plotting, but as we have seen in many plots, we always have the x-axis and y-axis. And so we first have layers. So as maybe in the picture, that the lowest layer is always like, what data are you trying to plot? So it's maybe the incidence data that we are having. Then from there, what is your x-axis and y-axis? Are you trying to plot, is it a line plot, is it a scatter plot? So that is another layer. So you're just keeping one layer after the other. And then after maybe line plot, then that's when you come, okay, my x-axis, label it as this. What is your title? What is your y-axis? How do you want the size? That's when you come to the theme. Like, do you want maybe a background which is black? Do you want maybe italic, maybe Roman, like Times New Roman? So many other things, but these layers go chronologically. Sometimes you can't just start with data and then geom. Sometimes you just have to, first of all, say your x and your y. That's when you say, okay, you want your scatter or line plot. So the arrangement is really important, but also we need to understand that it also comes as a one layer to the other. And we will try to do these things in the R as when we demo and do live coding. So as I said, first argument is always the data. So we use ggplot as a package. So we see on the left-hand side, when you just write ggplot into brackets, you just have it blank. Even when you write your data, maybe your data is df or df under 5, you just have it blank because you haven't specified what is your x and your y axis. But what if we do that? Because now we just have ggplot data equals to df under 5. What if we do, okay, what is your x and your y axis? So on the left side, we see that, okay, we write inside the aesthetics. Aesthetics is like something which changes in the terminologies of ggplots. We like do mapping. And what is your x and your y axis? So when you write x is data date tested and your y is incidence, we see on the left side, it's like already we have incidence and date tested, but we haven't said we're doing, is it a scatter plot, a line plot, or anything. That's when geom comes on top. So on the right-hand side, that's when we say, okay, we want a scatter plot, which is geom points. So when you write geom points, that's when we see dots appearing. So these dots that have appeared, it's like on top of what we had from the aesthetic of your x and your y. So these things come into steps. We first write your data, and what is your x and your y axis, and then what do you want to plot. So if we have that mentality in our head, it's really easy to like just write them chronologically. Then, okay, sometimes you can even go further. You just don't want a geom point. You want like scatter plots together with a line plot on top. So we already have the scatter plots, like the points, then we keep line on top of the points. So that's how it can be done. And sometimes it's because it's a one layer after the other, we'll try to see one of the exercises that what layer comes first matters, because if we change the size of our line, which is the last layer right now, when lines, like the size is really thick, like the width, it will cover the points. So sometimes you really need to see how really can we customize so that you can really see all the points and the lines at the same time. And that's when we come with a like scatter plots, which is geom points, and we can always customize in different styles, because I think we have seen many plots, different areas where we see different colors, we see different size, shapes, sometimes are triangles, squares, like cycles, anyhow. Sometimes are maybe more faint, or maybe like molds, like the transparency. So all those customization comes with within the geom point. So we say, what color do we want? What is the size, the shape, and many other when it comes to scatter plots. So I want to also cover the line, and then that's when we can go to the live coding part. So when it comes to the line, we do geom line, and we can see maybe example of the codes here. It's like we have ggplot, we said our data is df, what is our x and what is our y axis, and then what really do we want to map? Is it a like geom point or geom line? So right now it's geom line, so we do a line graph. So at what time do we use line graph? It's when we want to use the time series to see the trend over time. Like, is it seasonality, maybe rain season, maybe confirmed cases, how they appear over time, as how we tried to also like use pipe to see maybe So that was at admin 1, admin 2. But if we want to see over the month, maybe January to December, in a certain admin 1, that's when we try to use Geomline. And the different customization we can do with Geomline, we can also keep colors. Colors can differ. We can also do the width. Some of them can be thick and some of them can be thin. And we customize them to really keep the graphs more visible. And then also we can do line types. So you can see like some are solid, some are dashed, dotted, and many other things. And we can always like combine. So if you have a question, please just, you can raise your hand or like just ask me, interact with me. But so we will shift right now to, I have to stop sharing, but end my slideshow. And I will keep my script. So you can continue with the same script that you were using with praise, but then we can try to, first of all, if you didn't load the library, so I will just load my library here, and we'll continue with the same, is it like a good practice that we had from Yuval? So you have to like keep comments, like we load library. So we said our library is tidyverse. So we already load the library, and then we say that we read the data. So from the folder that Neema shared, there is 3 different data sets. So we're going to read the first data set, which is PF Incidential National. So this is one of the data that is from Yuval when it comes to us using pipes. So I did just take one, like admin 1, and I mean admin 2, and it's the one that we are going to visualize.
Ayodele, sorry, are you speaking or can you mute your microphone?
Okay, thank you. So we're going to read, okay, maybe let it name it simple, like maybe data. And you're going to say it's read CSV. And so we're going to use read underscore. I think this is the one you used last time. So read underscore CSV. And from, okay, I'm going to save it so that it can be easy for me to read it. So that it can be on the same folder that I have my data. And yeah, I think it's going to be easy that way. And you can do the same on your side so that you can make sure that when you read the data from the same directory, then you have it. So I'll save it here. So this is session 7, maybe visualization. So when I say I read my, okay, from my data. So I have all these options because I saved all my, like my folder for data in one of the folder called data. So I can read one of it, which is PF Incidential National. And when already I have, so I see that my data has 36 observations. And for easy visualization of this, I will just, okay, so this is a new feature with R, I don't want to remove it, okay. So we do have this date tested for the over 5 total and under 5 over the months. So I have from January to December, I have confirmed cases, population size, and incidence. So we can see that we'll be able to see over the months, maybe under 5, what is there, how is the trend for the over 5 and for the total. For the confirmed cases, maybe the population, incidence, and many other things. So by just checking my data, I'll be able to see how we can visualize at the end of the day. So maybe we can start with a simple scatter plot. And if I'm fast, please just let me know, because I hope that we are all following and trying to create these plots as we go. So I said, because it's layers, so we start with ggplot. We already loaded the package, so there is no need of like specifying which package do we want to use. So with just ggplot, we see what is appearing. I'm just like, we see on the right side, right lower side panel, already in the section for the plots, there is something that has appeared, like a very empty layer, because I just did run ggplot into brackets. So that is the first layer that we're trying to create. But what is the another layer that we are trying to keep is the data. So we can always specify like my data is data. So to remove the confusion, sorry, I'll just rename my data in a different way. So I'll just keep it df. But you can always like just remain data equals to data. So my data is df. And when I run that, still I have a very like a layer which is still empty because I haven't even specified what is my my x and my y axis. But we can always just specify. So I'll keep it down like ggplot, and then my data equals to df. Then I'll say what is my x and my y axis, which are inside the aesthetic. So my x is, so we said in our data, we do have date tested, and we can say maybe we are trying to keep confirmed cases or maybe incidents, any of it. So my x is date tested. As I write here, I think I'll have as a prop, so I choose so that I don't confuse. I'll try to expand so that you can all see how I go about. And my y, we can say maybe confirmed cases. And by just doing this, and I plot, so we can see that I have my y-axis, which is confirmed cases, and my x-axis, which is date tested. So, but I haven't like told my R to keep another layer of maybe is it a scatter plot, is it a line plot, is it bar or histogram, anything like that. So what we can do is we add another layer and we can keep it here. So I will add, so I want to do geom line. We started with scatter, sorry. So it's geom point. So when you just start, it gives you an option. So you just choose geom point. And when we plot, we see something like this. I hope everyone is able to follow and at least create this scatter plot. Can we have a thumb up, a reaction?
Yes, Gloria.
You're able
I
to
have a
do that?
doubt. No.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I've lost one of the the lessons. Because I didn't find the instance national on
Okay.
my file, so I don't know where to find it.
Okay, we are going to reshare again. Naima, if you can help to reshare the document again as a zip.
Yeah, so Praise posted it in the chat, Jersa, the incidents national one specifically, but also there is a link to a zip file above. If you scroll to the text that says data, that contains all the 3 data sets. Could you try downloading that and see if you're able to locate it? And let us know if you have any challenges accessing that.
You shared it on WhatsApp, sorry, son.
Oh, not on WhatsApp, on the Zoom chat.
The chat.
On the Zoom chat. Okay.
Yes.
Anyone else having challenges?
Okay, thank you. I'll download it.
Okay, great.
Kaiser, you were able to plot the scatter?
Not yet.
Okay. But you were able to read the data. Like, are you all able to locate the data? It is in the Zoom
No,
chat.
I think I can't find it. So I'm switching the app because I was using the Zoom on the browser. I think that is the issue. I'm switching
Okay, I'll also share a
to
link
an app.
to, I'll share a link to what? To the Google Drive. Yeah.
Also on Google, they don't have access to Google Drive, they have access to Google Classroom. So I'm gonna post it on Google Classroom as well.
Okay. Okay. And Nema, please, if you can keep both data for the PF incident, national and PF incidents, because we're going to use both. Yeah. Anyone else who did not have the data? So that we can see how many people are we waiting for. Gerson, were you able to download them?
Yes, I've downloaded.
Yeah, Neema has kept the link for the Google Classroom. Yeah, so please, if you're able to like read the data and plot, I've seen Sylvian, I think, with the reaction, which is good. Anyone else who was able to plot? You can even keep it down in the chat so that at least we can proceed. Okay, thank you. I see reactions. Thank you, Victoire. And thank you, Anna. Thank you. I see reactions, so maybe we can continue with a bit of customization. As we said, in this scatter plot, we can always keep a different color, a different maybe size, and maybe something like that. So I will just comment here. Customization. And it's the same. So we just start with the first layer of just ggplot. We say what our data is. Our data is df. Anyhow, how you named your data. Then we say what are our aesthetics. So what is your x-axis, which is date tested? And what is your y? Maybe confirmed cases. And then which is like not confirmed cases because our variable is like conf, so we use as conf as itself. And then we say what are we trying to plot? Is geom plot. Geom, when you just write p, we have like options, so we just choose geom point. But then how do we customize? We say, okay, we don't want our points to be black in color. We want them to be red. So we just say our color equals to, or always we write like red with, and how do you call them? Yeah, in quotes. So when we just run that, we see that the colors have now changed. Our points are not black anymore, they're now red. But we can go further. Maybe the points are really too small. We want to change the size. We just add in the geom points, like the customization inside the geom point brackets. We say, okay, we want our size to be more bigger. So we say maybe our size is 5. 5 is a bit bigger. Yeah, so we see, we can always like increase the size that we want for our points. But also we can say, okay, the red is too bold. We want to keep it a bit transparent. And we can change that with another command of alpha. So we say alpha, maybe it's 0.3. So like these ratios are how transparent you want them to be. So 0.9 will be much bold and 0.1 will be faint. So something like that. So all these customizations are really possible to be done in the graphs that you're trying to plot. But we can just jump into not only scatter plots like points, but we can also do a simple line plot. And what we just have to change is what we're trying to map. We're not trying to map points, we're trying to map line. So it's the same ggplot with our data. And sometimes you don't have to say data equals to df. Sometimes you can just say df because it knows like the first command you're trying to keep is the data frame that you have. So we say aesthetic, our x is net tested. We choose this. And our y is confirmed cases. Then we go outside. We say, okay, we want now not geom point, but geom line. We just do that. And then we have our geom line. And we can see it. So this is line, and we'll try to see later because sometimes you get things that are not really nice to visualize, and you ask yourself, like, why is it very, because like with this slide, you really can't say what has been displayed. But it's because it's a combination of total confirmed cases for the other 5, for the total, and also over 5. So when we try to split these trends over the 3 groups that we're having, you have a very nice plot. And we'll try to see them later. But now it's just to show how really can we plot line. And also the same customizations can be done, but we just try to do one by also changing maybe the line, because it's, you change the color the same way you change the size, but the size here you don't keep it as in numbers, like not size equals to 5, but we say line width, because now we're talking about the line. Earlier with the other versions of tidyverse, you just say size equals to 5 and it will work. But then now preferably they say you use line width. So it's the same ggplot. Okay, so now we're doing customization. We customize the line. Sorry. So we do ggplot. And we say our data is df. And what is our static? So our x equals to date tested. Like that. And what is our y? And as you can see from the data, you can always like plot anything, not only confirmed cases, we also have incidents which we can also like plot. So we can say not just confirmed cases, we can choose another variable now. So it is incidence we're trying to plot. And then we do geom line. And then, okay, so what do we want to customize with our line? We want to change the color. So we say color, our color is blue. And maybe we want to change the size. So we say now line width. Our line width maybe 0.7. It's like standard. And also maybe we want to change the line type. So we just say line type. You can say like it comes as a, okay, I'll try to, I hope like you can all see, I'm just trying to decrease my font size. And then my line type, I want it dashed. So as we said from the PPT, I'll try to display here. We have either dashed or solid is the one that we had. We either dashed, dotted, dot dash, depending on how you want it. But also you can also choose line color and other customizations. So I want it dashed. So when you plot, you see like it has changed now from the color, it's now blue. We're not plotting the incident. I mean, the confirmed cases again, we're plotting the incidents, and we have it dashed, and the size also has like increased. We can also say maybe here 0.2. We see how it changes. We see it's even more, is it in? Yeah, like the line width is really small. So these are the changes that can really be done when we are trying to customize either lines or maybe points. Can I have a thumb up if like we're together? Okay, thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Victor. Anyone who is behind, thank you, Annabelle. Anyone who is behind, so that you can wait. As we're trying to maybe wait for the ones who are not here, I mean, like they're not with us. I want for us to create this. Okay, so before we do this activity, let me do one more thing for the customization that we can do. So sometimes we can say like we have these line plots, as I said, they're not really telling us a very good information because we have three groups which are being visualized here. We have the under 5, we have the over 5, but we also have the total. So what happens if we want to just see the trend over the year for the maybe total incidence? So we'll do the same. Maybe we say that we customize for the specific group. So we want to just see total for the total, maybe confirmed cases or total incidence for the year 2018. So it's the same with ggplot. But now our data, which is DF, we don't want to visualize all the DF. Now we go back to our pipe that we did. We do Control-Shift-M and we filter. So I will teach you all how to do it inside, but you can always like do it outside. I think it's easier to do it here. Is it? Yeah. So DF, then we filter. What do we filter? It's age group. We just filter age group equals to total. So we filter age group equals to total. We have to make sure that they're all small letters. Yes. So we already specified what our data is. Our data is DF with a filter of age group equals to total. Then that's when we keep our aesthetics. Just keep it in the same line. So what is your X? Again, our X is date tested. And then our Y equals, maybe let's continue with incidence. And then, okay, what do we want to plot? Maybe line. So I do an addition. I will keep it here down, like to the next, so that people who are like trying to follow and do that. And then we have our geom line. But we see I do have this error here because maybe there is one of the bracket that isn't. And here filter is equals to total or static. Yeah, I think it's okay. So we'll run this. Yeah. So we see we have a very good line for us to say these are the incidents for the total age group. So we can always say, okay, if you want to do under 5, we can just change here our filter. So our filter is not total, our filter maybe is over 5. So I think it's written like this. OV5, yes. So our group is OV5. We plot the same date tested and our incidence. So when we do that, we see that the numbers have changed. Now the highest is almost like 200 and something, but at first it went to 300 and something as total. So this is for the over 5, and the other one is for the total age groups. Yeah, I think that's clear. How we can always like use the idea for the pipe that we had the last, I don't know, 1 hour, and combine it so that we can really plot specific filter data. There is a question. 5 minutes to a break. Okay. Yeah. So can we also do this activity, which is to just populate this graph we see on the right bottom, which all the instructions are here. So we use the same data that we already did read. You filter age group to the under 5, then you do a line for the incidence and date tested, but we customize too. We say that our size is 1.5, and we do dotted, not the solid line. but also color, we change it to gray. So we'll have something like this. Maybe we take 5 minutes to do that before we go for a break. Is there anyone with a question? It's going to be nice if we'll be able to do this before we go for a break. And if anyone is facing any problem, I guess you can just give it in the chat or just speak up and we'll be able to help. Any other time up in case we're done? Okay, thank you, people. Thank you, witness. And see your reaction. Thank you, Kaiser. Gerson, can I know if we are together? Were you able to like do the plot?
Sorry, I'm a little bit behind because I lost my internet. No,
Okay, but you have the data already. Did you read the data?
yes.
Okay. I will share my screen for the codes, so in case you need them. And we will take a break. I think it's a good time for us to take a break for the next 5 minutes, and then we can continue from there. As we are continuing the break, I will share the codes for the sake of the ones who haven't like been there with us. This and I will share. So in the break, if Gerson, you have any question, please just let me know, and we'll come back in the 5 past.
Yes, God. Can you go up on console?
Okay. So here I did read my data. You are able to do until here, right?
Yes, read.
Yeah. Then from there, I was trying to show how we can layer things from one to the other. So we can just say by ggplot data equals to df, because we have to specify first our data. That's when we specify our x and y axis. So I did specify just the data. You can run that, and it's just a plain page, because we haven't specified what is our x, what is our y, what are we trying to plot? Is it a line plot, a scatter plot, something like that? But when we try to specify, that's when we get it like this, because we already said what is our x-axis, what is our y, and we want to scatter plot. Do you want me to share with you these codes maybe in the
Yeah,
chat?
I think that I stopped it's like you see on the environment. I didn't create the data. I only have
Okay,
the
DF,
yes.
right? Yes,
Yeah.
yes, just DF is fine, because I tried to change the name actually. That's why I have that and DF, but they're all having the same number of observation and number of variables. So don't mind this data. Just DF is fine.
Okay. Yeah, but when I try to create the those plots using DF, it seems like I have always an error.
Okay, maybe we have 2 more minutes. Do you want to share your screen so that I can see?
Yeah, let me, because I'm using two devices, then I can follow easily. So I lost internet on one of my devices, the main one.
But in your environment, you do have your DF, right?
Yes, I have it.
Which has 36 observations and 5 is it variables. Is there anyone facing another problem? If we can sort it.
So it seems like I can't use two devices at the same time. I'm always using so I'll
No
try
problem, but I want to confirm with you if your DF has 36 observation and 5 variables. Like, are we all
yes.
reading it? Okay, so can you try to write only this code? Let me keep it in the chat. Control copy, then I'm keeping it in the chat. Control V. Can you try to run that piece of code? And you read with me the error that you will get.
Yeah, I still having the same problem.
Okay, can you read with me the error? The one that you get on your console?
I could not find function ggplot. Maybe I have to library.
Okay, you have to run this library. So on top, can you just do library into brackets tidyverse? So I think we are also learning from what Gerson has experienced, because if we don't run the library, then we'll not be able to plot. So when you just write library tidyverse and you run it, then you'll be able to plot. Is there anyone facing an error if we want to solve that, because we're already a minute after our break? We're good? Okay, thank you, Kirsten. I think we can now proceed. So we already did the activity, so we can have this. Yes, so as we have seen that okay, I'll keep it in the presentation. And so we have seen that we are able to have 3 groups of data, that we have over 5, under 5, and total. And sometimes we would want to visualize these things separately so that we can see how is the trend for the under 5, for the over 5, and for the total. So with ggplot, it allows us to do subgroups. And when you plot these lines, you can even tell them like, okay, I want each group to have its own color. And how do you do that is you can say that, okay, you want to do all of it with the same color so that all the 3 lines can be blue, but sometimes you can say, okay, I want it changing. And if you want it changing, it means you have to ensure that your color, you keep it like, what is the color? You have to differentiate it according to the age group. So that is the variable inside your data frame. And because it's changing, there is a way of keeping it inside the aesthetic, the EAS, and also outside. So we'll also see how we are trying to visualize them. Sorry. We have this. Okay, so and then another thing is, because we have all these 3 lines in the same graph, we can say, okay, we want them to keep them separately, all of them in a separate graph, and visualize them, all of them together. So there is a function I can say called facet. It's a feature for us to be able to create separate plots on each facet as part of the overall plot. So instead of having all the 3 lines as we do have here, for the total, under 5, and over 5, you can say, okay, I want under 5 themselves, over 5, and the total themselves. And you can even go further, because the plot on our right-hand side is like they share the y-axis. But you can say, okay, we don't want them to share y-axis because we will not be able to interpret them well. You want them, all of them, in the same, like separate axes. So we can say that the graph on our left-hand side, it has over 5, which has maximum, like the axis to 200, the total axis goes to 350, but the under 5, the axis goes to 800. So we see like we have more incidence in the under 5 compared to over 5 and the total. So all this can be done within the R ggplot, and we're going to do that. We're going to do that, then we're going to have an activity at the end. So I'm going to share my R, just a continuation of what we had. Okay, so I'll just keep it here. We're doing subgroups and faceting. And then from there, we can say that, okay, we want our data. We want first to ensure that we were able to do separate the lines in like with the colors. So we start with our first layer for ggplot and say our data is df. You can always like specify data equals to df or just df. Sorry. And then our aesthetic, what is our x? We say our x is net tested. And what is our y? Is incidence. Let's say we're trying to plot incidence right now. And then we want to do okay, we have to do addition to add another layer, that we do geom line. And then with our geom line, we can say, okay, we want to just plot the color as edge groups, or maybe color equals to blue. So when we try, I will test all of them so that you can all see. So when you say color equals to blue, this is what happens. It's the same, like just one line connecting all the 3 groups in a blue color. But we want our lines to be in terms of age groups. What happens if we keep it outside the aesthetic? So color equals to age group. I think it's named like this. We just see age group. And when we try to run, we'll have an error. We see, like we said, like the unknown color named age group. So there is no any color which is named age group, and that's why it does not really reflect to what we are having. And because we want this color, it has 3 groups and it's changing over time, and that's why we always say that we keep it inside the aesthetic. So we'll just copy this color and keep it inside. Here do we run? So, okay. So we have to, this is also one of the things that we discussed. Yes. So we have them as color because age group now is not like, is it like how we write color equals to blue and we keep those, is it commas? Yeah, but because age group is a variable inside our data, and that's why we write it as how it is, like color equals to age group. And that's when we have the plot on the right hand side. Do we have any question? Then we can go to the second thing, and yeah, and it's the same. We can, okay, if not just ggplot with line, we can do the same with scatter, and it's the same ggplot. Our data is df, and we specify our aesthetic. Our x is date tested, and our y is incidence. We can continue the same so that you can see the difference. And our color, because we have them in groups as age group. Then we don't want geom line, we want geom start. Geom point. Geom points, and we have them. So one of the things that we can also try to change here is the same customization. So we want to say maybe size equals to maybe 4, so that it can be large. So we see that the size has increased. But you can always like also change the colors as you want to. If you want specifically maybe over 5 to be pink, another to be gray, another black, you can always customize them in the geom point, inside the geom point here. And maybe we go to the next step of trying to separate all these. Maybe if we have lines, we had lines here. So if we want all these lines to be in a separate like plot figure, so 3 of them in one, we do it by faceting. So how do we do it? So we go the same like ggplot, our data which is df, and then we do aesthetic. Our x is date tested, and then our y is incidence. And we don't write like all the colors here because sorry, we will just keep it them as facet according to age groups. So we'll plus, we continue with geom line, and then okay, and then we write now facet. We use facet raw. That's the function. And with time, you'll learn how to also use like facet grid, like they differ. I'm trying to find one. Yeah, so it's here with age group. So what happens if we say, okay, we want to facet according to age group? And we have DF, our data set, we have our aesthetics, then we want line plots, but also we facet according to age group. And when we do that, we can see that we have all of them in black because we haven't specified any color. But then we have only one y-axis, and for the over 5, the total, and then under 5. And we can go further by saying, okay, we want maybe different colors for the over 5 total and under 5 to differ. And we just use the same concept we had to keep colors inside the aesthetic. So in simplicity, I'll just copy and paste here and say, okay, I just want it in different colors. So I write color equals to age group. So just like that. And I have them in different colors. And because of the space, I think it's really small, but I can zoom it. And we have it like this. So you can see exactly like what happens to the over 5 because this the first panel, it's all V5. So this is over 5, and this is for the total, and this for the under 5. And we can even see like in the legend specifically saying like the blue one is for the under 5, the green one is for the total, and the red one is for the over 5. And we see like it's net tested, and we see this over time. Maybe we can jump into an activity. Something else that I can add is there was this one panel, like a figure that we had here, which is we can have separate panels with a different y-axis. Yeah. So that happens by us doing the same, Control V. It's the same, you specify what's your data, your X and your y-axis. You're doing geom-line. You do facet according to age group. But there is an addition of something that you're keeping here, but by specifying like what are your scales, is it a free Y or like is it all of them using one axis? So here I will just say scale, scales equals to, I'll just write free Y. So that each of the panel to have a separate y-axis. So as we can see, like right now, because I didn't specify the color, so all of them have the same black color, but all of them have their own y-axis because we see like the under 5 has very high compared to total end. So that's one of the customization, but also we can specify how many columns because here we can see we have 1, 2, 3 columns. You can say, okay, maybe I just want only 2 columns for easy visibility. So we can just say here, we can add, these are all customization when we're doing faceting. So number of columns, we just keep it equals to 2. And when we do that, we can see that we get only 2 columns. And because we have only 3 figures, so the first column has 2 plots and this only 1 plot. So these are different customizations that we can do when we try to do faceting. Can we have a thumb up if we're all together and if we can jump into activities? If you have any question, please just keep it in the chat or can just speak. Okay, I see many thumbs up, so which is good. Can we try to do this one activity to just practice? This is a simple one with not much of the customizations. And you can like just copy and paste really, you don't need to write all the data, DF and all that. So if we'll be able to populate this, it's the same incidence and they tested, but not geom line right now. It's geom scatter, like geom point. And then you don't have to customize the scales because you have all the same scale for all the 3 plots. But then we just have to ensure that inside the aesthetic, we keep the color equals to age groups. Maybe a minute or 2 for you to just edit the codes that we have to populate this. Step time, maybe I will also like try to do it even with everyone. So this is activity 3. So we have our GG plot. Our data is DF. we write inside the aesthetic what our X is, which is date tested, and our Y is incidence. And then we have to specify color equals to age group. Yes. Then we do geom points, because that is points. And then there was no any customization of colors in the geom point. So we can just say we go straight to faceting. So the facet wrap. So this sign, like the, what is the name of the sign? I don't know. But I do with shift, just the case before number 1 in Windows. Shift with the, yeah, in case like it's hard for anyone to find it. And I'll also be like, and keep it in the chat. Yeah, this is the sign that we're keeping. I kept it in the chat. So we facet wrap with age groups. So when we do that, we get the plot that we had. So we have like red, green, and blue because we did customize the colors inside the aesthetic. And then we have the free Y, like, what does it signify? I think it's just how we write the function for the facet wrap, but I'm really not sure what it signifies. It's more of like, what are you trying, like what is the variable next to it? You try to split yours into, because sometimes you can have like the split of your X and Y. So you just keep your X, then the thing, your Y. If you have many variables to facet, kind of. Yeah. But it's just a symbolic of how the people who created the package, how they did it, yeah. It's called a tilt? Okay, yeah, it's called a tilt. Okay, so we can jump into another part of visualization. And right now, we had our break already. It's all about themes. And I will change my display. So as we try to plot from now, I mean, like from the beginning, we didn't specify how we want our visuals to appear, like what will be our background and everything. I'm sorry, my battery is low. I mean, don't mind. Okay. Okay, I'm plugged in. So we're able to just have the default background, which is the gray one, but you can always want a white background, a black background, and many other customizations that can be done to change the theme. And that is one of the layers that comes after you mapping, if you want a geom point or geom line, and many other types of graphs that you can have. So there are many others, and really the choice of your background comes with where do you want to present this thing. So if you want it for publication or maybe for maps, but maps, you don't need like your X and your Y axis, so you use void. For presentations, maybe you use theme dark, theme minimal. For publications, sometimes most of the time people use theme classic. So these are like different options, and they're even more than this. Themes that you can really explore. And we see like different graphs happening on the right side, like the same graph but different backgrounds that you can always choose. Another thing is we see that when we specifically just write your X and your Y, it doesn't specify really, and really it doesn't give you the information like what your X is and what is your Y, because we had date tested as our X axis label. But what is the tested? It really doesn't give a good information. So we can always change labels in our graph, and that's another layer that we're adding into. So when we want to customize, maybe we say, okay, so the function is labs, and there are many ways of really doing it. Other people, you can see writing the codes, they write them inside the theme. But you can say, okay, we want the label in the x-axis to be months, not date tested, as how we're writing our x-axis. And on the Y, it's just not incidence. Like incidence is really, doesn't tell you, is it per 1,000, per 10,000, per 100,000, like something like that. So we can always like specify, so this is incidence per 100,000. Also, you can keep a title for your page. If it's a presentation you're going to have somewhere, it's good keeping a title. But if it's for publication, you always keep a caption. and something like that. So what are the colors? So the color that we did in the legend, so this is the title here. We see the title here, it's age group, but we keep it in capital, like good presentation of things. So we can always like customize those things here by using this function labs. And then we add another layer here. We did keep Vim BW. So this is the Vim. You see, like it's not gray as how we had in the beginning plots. You can go further to some of the graphs. You always see them that your x-axis is always rotated. So you always like keep an angle inside the Vim. So maybe like angle is 45. So this all customization comes when you want to have your final plot and you want to keep it for publication or any other thing. And when the title is really long, you can always like break a line by using this, is it a backslash with an N? And then you can also adjust the font. As I said, you can choose Times New Roman, maybe if the font size is really small, so you can keep it like larger. So you, accordingly to the axis, you change. So axis title for X, you keep size 14, for Y 14, and many others. Like what is your plot title, the size you want to keep, the font, and other things. So all this customization, will come see them at the end, but maybe for the sake of time, let us skip to more plots that can be done in ggplot. So apart from just line and scatter plots and different customizations that we have done, you can also do box plots we're using ggplot. And with that, it's just the different mapping that is added. Instead of geom point or geom line, you say it is geom box plot, because that's the one we're doing. And why do we want to do box plots? This addition thing is really how to see the median and maybe like those quantiles. Is it like the 25th and 75th percentiles, those quantiles, like the first, the second, and the third, how to really visualize them. We use them box plots. And then another plot that we can do is histogram. Yeah, box plot and histogram. The only changes that we are doing is not, again, geom line and geom point, it's geom histogram. There are different customizations you can do. Maybe you can choose the number of bins, like the number of bars, like which are there. You can also fill different colors and something like that. And then we can also do geom bar. So the difference between histogram really and geom bar is like just the specifications. So with geom bar, we can always specify what is your X and what is your Y. But always with geom bar, we always add this stats equal to identity to really tell the plot that already my Y, like total number of something. And that's why it plots. And you can always, like, for the people who have seen different bars, you can always have a stacked bar and maybe separate bars for different groups. You're going to see them, but how do we separate them and how do we just leave it stacked? And yeah, we can just shift to our codes. And maybe do a bit of the box plot and histograms. And then maybe at the end, that's when we are going to do all these customization of labs, keeping title and other things. So we start with box plot. And it's the same. So I will just copy mine because, okay, so one of the things is here we will not be able to use the same data because we do not have like specific total number of cases according to admin 1 and admin 2. So this is the point where we are reading the second data. So I will call it DF2. We can all try to read it so that will be easy for us to plot this. CSV, and from data, is it like this? Yes. So we just read PF incidence now. And our DF2 has almost 1,608 observation over 7 variables. So we write the function the same, but our data now is not DF1, it's DF2. And then we have our statics. Again, it is date tested. Yeah, we have both date tested. And we have our Y as confirmed cases. We have it as con the same way. And then we want maybe now to group. We want to group according to date tested. And then we add geom. Yes. Box plot here. And when we plot, we get something like this. So we have to group according to date tested because now we have many date tested according to admin 1 and admin 2. So and that's why we like specifically just want to take a certain date if it's just January, February, and all that for all the groups. So we can see maybe like this is January, and we can always, one of the other things that we use box plots is like really it shows outliers because the middle line is the median, and then we have like the first quartile and then like 25th and 75th percentile. But we can always see these outliers, like this is an outlier because it's really far away from the other points. So one of the advantage of us trying to do box plot is really to visualize that there are outliers, what is the mean and median and all that. Yeah. And then in addition, we can always just do histogram and it's always the same. So ggplot, we do df2. And our aesthetics, we say what is our x and what is our y. But with histogram now, I said the difference between histogram and bars is with histogram, you just keep your x because it shows just the distribution of things, like how is confirmed cases distributed, how is incidence distributed. So our x is con. And then we say histogram, and then we plot, we have this. But we can see like there are many different bars, but we can always like customize. We just want 20 bars to see the distribution because these are like really many bars which are like under 0 and cannot visualize them well. So we just do the same ggplot, df2, then aesthetic, x equals to con. We don't change anything, but we customize inside the histogram. Yeah, histogram. So we specify like how many beans we want. Like those the bars, how many do we want? So we can even keep maybe 25 for easy visualization of things. And then you can say, okay, we want to fill maybe blue color. So fill equals to maybe blue. And then we plot. So we can see that the number of beans have changed from this side. When we had many of them, you can see like there are many steps, and you can always like just change here, maybe 15 to see the difference, and you can see like how the number of beans do change over the selection of the number of beans you want. But we can also like keep one of the feature of color equals to white. So just separate one bean after the other. Yeah, like to just separate one bean after the other. And we said another plot that we can do is bar plot. And it's the same ggplot. We say our data, which is df2. And here, because we said we specify our x and y axis, so we write our aesthetic, our x is date tested. Okay. There is a question of what determines the number of beans. Okay, so what determines the number of beans to say is really how you want to visualize things. So if you see like the number of beans are really many and you really can't see the distribution, because what we want to see is just the distribution. As with the plot that we're having right now, we can see that it is left skewed. Is it left? Yeah, left skewed. So for a better visualization of your plot, you choose the number of beans you want to specify to really show the distribution of the variable that you're trying to plot. So we have date tested, our x-axis, y, then we continue with incidence. And then we specifically say we want to fill like the groups now. Age group, because we have 3 age groups. And then we say now it is GeoBar. But we said because it is we have to tell them like this is the total, like with the incidence it's the total number. So always say that start equals to identity, because without this it will not be able to like plot. Start equals to identity, and we have this as a stacked plot. So we see that the blue is over 5, and then we have green, which is total, and red with pink over 5. And sometimes many people would prefer this, but many people would say, okay, keep these 3 groups separately. How do you do it? It's just an addition of one simple code here. I'll just copy it and paste. And we just add one thing here by saying position equals to dodge. And when we do that, we see that already we have separately that we have the over 5 with pink, the total with green, and then the under 5, because under 5 have more incidences, so it goes really up compared to the others. So we can see separately how maybe simple interpretation of this figure, which is dodged, compared to when it is stacked. But really this depends on the audience that you're going to present, because some of the people will understand the stacked, but others it's going to be really hard to understand, so you just separate the bars accordingly. With that, maybe we can do an activity. So, okay, maybe I was saying about the themes. So we can see that we have gray, but we can always change theme. So we say maybe theme we want black and white. And by doing that, we see is changed. Another theme is classic. So you change here. Theme classic. And by doing that, you see it has changed, because the difference between the classic is like also like the boundaries and also the grid. Like this had grid inside, and this one have no grid. So it depends with also the change of themes. But also one additional thing, we talked about labs. We can always add a title, and this comes before the choice of themes as a layer. And we can say it's labs. And we can add, and this is one of the things that can really interact one another, like it can even come after. So we change date tested, which is a month. So we say we start with like, okay, we can start with the title. Our title is, we can say these are incidents per age group. And then our X, we keep maybe months. And then our Y equals to maybe incidents per 1,000, is it 100,000? So we already specified like what is our title, what is our X, and what is our Y, and then what is the theme that we want to choose. And we have additions to another layer. So when we do that, we see that we already have some changes. Our title has changed to incidents per age group. We have months, and we also have like the incidents that's changed to incidents per 1,000. So these are the changes that we can see, like, because we said notched as position, so we have like 3 groups per each of the months that we're trying to see per time in 2018. So maybe we can leave all of you to do this as we can jump into an activity. Are we together? Should we like go to an activity? Or maybe anyone who wants me to repeat anything? Very good, Victor, thank you. Another thumbs up. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, witness. Thank you, Kaiser. So for the ones who were able to do, can we try to populate one of the, let me try to see. So we have this text. Oh yeah, we can have this. Can we try to populate this? So this tests about our labs and also like the changes for the color, the age groups, and also the axis. I will keep the sample by changing the axis to everyone. So that you can be able to like copy just the rotation. So we rotate like this. Okay. Not copy. Yeah. Maybe we can take 5 minutes to have this plot, and then we can jump into GitHub. And if you have any question about the theme that is being used, I can always like give a hint.
Gloria, there's a message from Jason. He's asking if you can share the code, I believe, again.
Okay. Hope everyone was able to like even to share this, but it's almost like the same. I will share the codes. Kirsten, do you want to share to see the codes for the geom bars and histograms we were trying to see, or like the line plots that we're trying to populate?
Yes. No. I saw the press's message saying that now you're using the PF instance data, not national one. Okay.
Yes.
Now she've shared.
And for this plot, we go back. We can use the PF incidence nationally because it's like for the
Okay.
one that we're trying to regulate. You can use the other one, but I think you need to filter some of the admin one and admin two. It will be good if anyone can like use the second data to do that. It's just a continuation of what we had somewhere. Into the capacity. Yeah, in the subgroups.
Explorer, when I'm trying to run it, it always says like this directive doesn't exist. And it's
Okay,
always
so
telling the package ggplot2, always when I'm trying to run.
when you're trying to read the data, right?
Yeah.
So it's something like this because we tried to save our data into a folder called data, and then there is inside PF incidents. So the same way you did read the first data frame, you should read the second data frame, but just with a different name if you saved them in the same place. Do you have them in the same folder? Maybe if I should ask you.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, you can. I think we can have a few minutes to do that.
Can you see it?
Loading, yes.
So when I'm
Sorry.
trying to run, for
Can you
example, the
maximize?
first,
Can you do Control Plus for me to see? Okay. What did you
so
run?
when,
Okay.
for example, for the first one, so I created this df2, and I tried to do the activity for.
Sorry, can you go to the end of your line number 23?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to see like at the end which data frame did you read? Yeah, okay. So the data frame, the name is PF underscore incidents. There is no national.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just PF underscore incidents dot CSV. No, you don't have to delete it.
Okay, let me copy the last data to my folder.
Okay, you don't have the data. So yes, please download it from the. Yeah. Okay, as Gerson, you're trying to figure out with the data, maybe I can demo the next part with a Git desktop so that everyone can just have a picture how it's being done. And you can always like practice. I'll share like two types of PPTs. So this one and also like the PPT specifically for Git desktop, and you can always like practice. So the only difference that I'm trying to make right now from all the visualization that we have made and what you have seen taught last session is you can always have all these version control, changing, committing, pushing by using a very good interface and application that is there. It's called Git Desktop, and do everything locally in your computer. Just commit to your repository in the GitHub account that you're having. And what is Git Desktop? So it's just a visual interface for Git. So I think last time what you did, you tried to see what your GitHub pages look like, but also how you can do everything from the ARA point of view or maybe terminal. But if you're not used to all this terminal, doing it ARA, you can always just do using the Git desktop and easily commit and push and using branches and something like that. But also backs up your code to GitHub. You can always have things in the GitHub, like your account, but also in the local computer. So you have two places, but also enables collaboration, as how we have seen how you can collaborate, maybe fork other people's accounts. You can commit changes, branch, and all other things. But also it's a full version history, as we were trying to learn about version control. What really works in different steps is you first create your repository in the GitHub desktop, but that repository you're going to create, it is locally in your computer. You have not published it into your account yet. So like online, so you have to publish it. You can create branches, or if you're working on your main branch, you can also do that. You can edit different files locally, then commit the changes. You can push the changes that you have made. You can also pull them if maybe someone else has just committed things online and you want them to exist in your offline computer. You can also like merge different pull requests that are coming. So everything that you've been doing that can also be done in a very easy way, I can say, using this desktop. So I'm going to demo one step after the other, and I will share the slides for you all to see. So if you were able to download your Git desktop, I have to delete this because it's one that I will try to do that either way. So if you were able to download your Git desktop, you had something like this, which is, you don't have current repository because you haven't created your repository yet. So we're going to create a repository together. And I hope everyone has already linked their account to their GitHub account. Oh, I'm not sharing. Sorry. Oh my God. Then I was talking a lot of things about sharing. So I'm going to share my. Okay. So I was talking about this slide, like, so what Git desktop does, a visual interface for backups, collaborations, but also full version, and also the steps from creating a new repo. You publish it, you create branch, you edit files, committing, pushing, pulling, but also when you're collaborating, you need to merge some of the versions that are coming. And I said, like, I'm going to do now a demo from one step to another, how really you can link you can create a new repository and then keep it in your online version for the GitHub, but also commit different changes. So I'm going to like do it for like, I'm going to demo it, and then we're going to see how we can use. I'm just going to hide this panel. Okay. Okay, so this is my interface for the Git desktop. It's going to be different to you if you don't have different repositories, but we're going to create new ones. So how do you create? So I'm going to Files, then you're creating a new repository. So you can either add local repository if you have a folder already created. You can clone. So cloning is like taking a certain repository that you already have online in your Git account and keep it locally. And then you have like different options and exit it. So we are going to create a new repository, and we're going to name it maybe map with capital letters so that we don't confuse ECR2, maybe workshop 7. Workshop 7. So this is the name of my repository, like map ECR with workshop 7. This is when you add like different descriptions that you want. Do you want to add a README? I think we talked about that last time. So we're going to create a repository. So that's just an easy way. But here we have created, and also like, okay, I didn't show you, but there was a path for repository. Always there on the documents, a folder called GitHub. So when I go to my documents here, so these are my documents. I have different documents, but I have a document called GitHub. So when I open GitHub, these are different repositories that I do have, but I created this new one, like map ECR workshop 7. So this is already created locally in my computer, but I need to publish it so that I can go online and I'll be able to see it in my Git account. So already I have map ECR workshop 7 in the current repository that I am working on. A branch, I'm working on the main branch, but I need to publish this repository so that it can go to my GitHub. So you see, there is also an option to publish this repository to GitHub. So I'm going here to publish it. And do I want to keep it private? Maybe I can say keep it Discord private, or if you want to keep it public, you just don't keep it. You don't like tick. Is it organization? Maybe if you have different organizations and you want to collaborate with other people, you can always choose, but it's none. And different descriptions that you want to keep. But after that, you just publish a repository. So after publishing it, I'm expecting it to be in my Git account. So I'm going to choose so I will open my account so that you all can see. This is my account, and I'm going to check all my repositories so that I can be able to see. Yeah. So you see, I have updated a new repository 32 seconds earlier. So it's called Map ECR Workshop 7. So this is a new repository that I've created and also I've published it in my account. It can be seen. And when I open it, it's empty. It also has a README because I said like it should also commit a README, but also there was no any description that I kept. But if I could keep anything, it would always like just keep display here. But I also have only one branch, like my main branch. But I want to create different branches. So here I will just say like this is my main branch that I'm working on, but I want to create a new branch. Maybe the new branch is about only maybe line plot, and I have maybe codes to like also keep, or maybe like only maybe session 7. So I'll create a new branch and keep it maybe session, is it workshop 7? Workshop 7, maybe just trial. So I create a branch. It's loading, yes. So already I created my branch, but my branch is not online because I haven't like published the branch yet. So even when you try to see on my Git, I still have only one branch. But let's see if you publish this branch. So I publish it. And after publishing the branch, so that I can be, because I think we have seen that why do we create branches is like not to really disrupt all the changes in your main branch. So if you're doing any trials, you keep them in the branch, and that's when you merge to your main branch. So so you can see, I will just maybe just so right now the number of branches are 2, and we have like the main branch, and we also like we have the workshop 7 trial. So we created a new branch, and we can always do different commits in there. Your branch, and that's when you can keep into the main. So even you can see here, like the current branch that we're working on is workshop 7 trial. So what happens, how do we do locally and see how we can commit all these changes is I have this document, my map ECR workshop 7, which I created. Probably I have my ARA codes that we created earlier, and I can paste them here. So I will try to save as the same, like you can save anything really, but I will try to save as, and I will choose the repository. So it is in documents, in the GitHub, and then in the, is it ECR workshop 7, and then it's session 7 visualization. So I will save it here. And when I go to Git desktop, I already have some of the changes I made in my folder. So we can see like there is one change, which is session 7, which is the R, which I've added. But these changes are locally. I haven't like committed them to our online. And that's when we like say, okay, now I commit changes that I've made. So here I can say I have added the R file, and I commit one file to my branch. So we see like here, I commit one file to workshop 7 underscore trial. So this is a branch. If I want to do main, I could have changed here. Like in the current branch, I changed that I'm working on the main. Yes, like the main branch. So already I committed one, and it tells me like one of the other things you need to do right now is push. I need to push these changes to the origin. So I push it so that I can be able to see them online. So this is like just an interface which it allows you to like push things, pull things from the your online Git account. So when I come here into my map ECR, we see that we have to compare in pull request because we have one commit which has been done. We see like we have one commit which has been done, and this was the initial commit. Okay, so we are on the branches. Okay, we are still on the main branch here. We choose the workshop 7 so that you can see the commits. So we see here already the session 7 visualization, it is already in the workshop 7 branch, but it's not in the main. Because we are working everything in the branches, when we are done, that's when we can merge them to the main. And how do we do it to merge them into the main? Like now I have done all the visualization and my error codes are correct. So I just here compare and pull requests, and then create a pull request from the branch so that we can now merge. Yeah, then we merge the pull request. So when we merge here, that's when it goes to the main. Just confirm it. You really don't have to like comment everything, but sometimes you just comment to ensure that every commit that is being added in the main, you know how it's being done, and or maybe why is it being done. And we see that now our main has session 7 visualization.r. So in case maybe Praise is the one working on the second branch and she kept some of the commits, that's how I can accept the changes she has made, or maybe even decline sometimes. Because if there are some things which have maybe like contradict, so you always like just decline and not like just merge, as we can always do. So this is an easy way of like doing. And maybe one of the things that I can say is I can also like make changes online to be seen offline. So maybe that's an easy thing I can do right now. So maybe edit here in my README and say this is the sample demo, just like this. And I commit changes. So I have done everything online. So I just commit, don't add anything. So I have committed things online, but not offline. So when I go offline, I am expecting it to tell me to fetch, like fetch from origin. So I already did this. I need to, okay, I need to like pull, so that I pull things from the main actually. So currently we are working on the main. And because like changes have been done on the main, and then from there I need to pull. I need to see the changes that have been done on the README. Yeah. So I think now I was expecting like a commit, but I'm not sure. But now that's how like I can pull many changes that are being done online coming to my offline, like a local document, and back to online, depending on the changes that you're going to make. So back to the slides. I think that's how we have demoed like from number 1 to number 7, how to like pull and merge. And with that, I say thank you. And there is a survey for you all to fill and see how we have improved from the first time to now. But if you want to get in touch, there is an email, but also more of these materials, how to really customize more plots and publication ready plots that can be obtained from the carpentry course. And with that, I welcome Neema. I think Neema has something to say about the mentoring. And sorry for like adding, I don't know how many more minutes, 5 more minutes. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gloria. This was very insightful. I hope you, for the people that are just new to R, have learned quite a bit. And yeah, please do reference the resources that Gloria did share. On the website also, I'm going to paste here, there's a link that goes into the details on the visualizations. Take a look at that. And if you do have any questions, yeah, do feel free to reach out to Gloria or the program team. But other than that, thank you so much, Gloria and Praise, for your time. I do have a quick update. So some of you may have already been connected to your mentors. Please do go ahead to initialize that first call with them, where you will go through the mentor guide and just chat about the structure of how you want your engagement with them to be over the course of the program. And yeah, if you have any questions or if you don't hear back from your mentor, please do let us know. I will help facilitate that. Other than that, if you have 5 more minutes, there's something that I just wanted to share with you. So we have observed that there's a low completion rate of the CAS surveys. And because these CAS surveys are a very important part of the program in how it helps us track the learning gains over time, but it's also a medium for you to share feedback with us, and it helps us get our understanding of how we're progressing and how we can improve moving forward. We would really want to encourage you to be doing that, but also we want the surveys to be something that is of value for you. So we wanted to understand what are some of the barriers that are preventing folks from completing this on time. And to do so, I have prepared a very brief survey that I'm going to share here. And I would like to ask you to spend the next 2 or 3 minutes to fill it out. This will help inform us in terms of how we can better prepare and craft these surveys so that they are productive for the both of us and don't take too much of your time. So I'm just going to launch the survey. I believe it has come up. Can I get a reaction if folks are seeing the survey? Thank you, Praise. Yeah, so I'd like to ask the participants if you could please just spend 2 minutes to quickly fill it out. It's not very long. It has 4 questions. Would love to hear your feedback. I've received 4 responses so far. Yeah, thank you. More responses are coming in. Thank you. Gonna give us 1 more minute, then I'll close the poll. Okay, yeah, thank you everyone. I'm going to we're going to end the call now, but we will have reminders of the graded assignment from the data wrangling session. And for those folks that need a bit more practice time, we'll arrange for office hours, and perhaps you can also use that time to go through some of the material that Gloria covered in this session. More information about that will be communicated via WhatsApp. But other than that, I hope this has been a productive session for everyone. And yeah, thank you so much again, everyone, for joining. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye.